Hi, I'm Eleanor Tankard. This is a reflection on our media assignment 4, which was to have a media fast for a day and then the consecutive day have a media immersion where we try to take in as much media as possible. And basically this is just a vlog on my thoughts on that day. Well, basically the biggest thing was that it was difficult, but I guess that was obvious anyway. It was always going to be difficult, but I think I was quite lucky in the day that I chose that it was sunny outside. It doesn't seem like a big thing, but it meant I could sit outside, not sit inside where all the media usually is, like TVs, phones, radios, everything like that is usually indoors, and I didn't have to be in front of that for all that time. I could just sit outside on the grass where other people were around, could talk to them. So I think if it had been a bad day for weather, then I would have been more limited in what I could do to entertain myself. So I suppose you could say that I strategically chose my day in that sense. I mean, I chose a day after I'd been out, so I slept in late, which took up more time of the media day. More time I didn't have to knowingly avoid things, just because I knew how hard it was going to be, trying to make it easier for myself already, which is a bit of a cheat, I suppose. But it hit me straight away when I woke up. Usually I check my phone, just check my emails, check my texts, Facebook, the time even. The time's a massive thing. You woke up and the first thing I look at is my phone and see what time it is. Am I late? Has my alarm gone off? But I couldn't do that, so it was a bit odd. I mean, I have a clock that I used to use before I got my phone, but I just don't tend to look at it. I didn't even realise that. I mean, I wear a watch as well, so that helps to keep a track of time. But is looking at a watch media as well? Is that media? And most things are. It's media and information to me. So is it not just the same as me looking at the time on my phone? But anyway, I was avoiding that because it seemed that the media we were told to avoid was mostly technological, apart from reading, that sort of thing, writing. Went downstairs, usually people around, there was nobody there. I don't particularly enjoy being on my own without people to talk to. I love to talk to people, so, or be in contact with anyone, even from your own. You could text someone, you could talk to them that way, on Facebook. So it was just me, on my own, eating my breakfast, dinner, whatever. But at the same time then, I'm on my phone. If I am on my own, even if I'm with other people, I'm on my phone, so that was strange to just be sat there and not do anything. It felt a bit awkward actually, even though there was no one else there. Most of the day I did nothing, sat outside in the sun, thankfully for that. Spoke to friends, spoke to people face to face rather than via text. Didn't have to rely on it. It was more intimate conversation, I guess. But again, I wasn't very productive. I couldn't do anything, couldn't do any revision, couldn't do any work. So I felt guilty for that. But I guess this was work, in a way. It was media fast, so there you go. I felt out of contact a lot in the day with people. I felt a bit uneasy. I guess that's a nomophobia. But just, if there was an emergency I couldn't contact anyone. Well, I could, but it'd be a lot difficult than it would be usually. I felt out of loop with news as well. Not necessarily serious news, which is maybe what I should have been worried I was out of contact with, but more petty news like Facebook, Twitter, those sort of feeds that we're always looking at all the time. I suppose it's a bit of being nosy as well, which is what I am. So it's just a notion of these like imagined communities, is what Benedict Anderson said, that we're a part of online, these virtual spaces that we can interact with each other. It's a bit strange really, but it's just, I suppose it's what we have in real life sort of like translated onto the internet. So even when we was outside, I noticed that everyone was still using media. People on phones, on laptops, everything. So nobody was ever giving the full attention to anyone else anyway. So I thought it was quite interesting really. It's like how it's so embedded in our lives. It's a bit unsociable. We've become a bit complacent, I think. Media's made us become a little bit complacent. But it's done wonderful things as well, but there you go. A lot of it was habit too. I'd go to check my phone. I'd go to pick up my phone and I'll think, where's my phone? So I strategically left it in my room so I couldn't do that, otherwise I'd have been using media by accident. So that was probably a good idea from the start. It was also quite boring. I mean, media takes up a lot of the things we can entertain ourselves with: games on our phones, laptops, watching films, watching TV, listening to music, all of that. We couldn't do any of that. Reading, writing. One of the biggest things I thought was how unable to, I couldn't avoid it. I was outside but somebody was playing music on the laptop, I couldn't not listen to it. Or walk past adverts, I couldn't not look at them. It was a natural response. Just like the TV on the background, everything. I mean, like, it's a way of bonding as well. People, media, talk about songs, watch TV programs together, all of that. And I don't want to remove myself from the social situation. I don't want to feel even more out of the loop by having to take myself out of the room because they've got TV on, if you see what I mean. And I'd be extremely bored otherwise. I didn't really notice how much media as much until the immersion did, when I had to write it all down. When I had to write it, I did it on my phone, which I thought would be easier because I'd be checking my phone the most. But I was on my phone all the time, writing check phone, saw television, and saw advert on the spine, all of that. And I think in the fast or just in normal day to day, you don't really notice it anymore. There's just so much of it. But like Gergen said, we're so saturated that we're becoming not unaware of it to an extent. I mean, we're zoning out, which I thought was quite interesting as well. But I'm not sure. The immersion was an eye-opener. I mean, again, a lot of my use was habit, so I kept forgetting to write things down as well, which I noticed when I was writing my essay when I came to look, and it should have been hundreds or thousands of media, but there weren't that many. So I think there's so much media, we're not necessarily aware of it all sometimes as well, which is a new thing. I didn't think about that before we started the assignment. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. I don't know if I'd be able to do it for any longer. Probably wouldn't be able to do it for any longer, but it was an eye-opener, which I suppose is what Adam Fish wanted, so well done there. And it was definitely a new experience. So yeah, thanks for listening to my vlog.